Unorganized. Hi, here we are. Once again, it's time to compose some tunes. Or a tune. I've got lots to talk about today. And it's about composing songs, of course. So, um, yeah, it's funny how things work. I'm not sure how this happened, but I was basically about a week ago. I gotta apologize too because I've been off for a week, and the reason was I have no reason. I have no excuse. I'm a musician. I guess that's my excuse. I guess, and also art is not always on a watch. It's not on a clock. So being a songwriter or a composer, or even and a musician, all these things puts us all into the category of artist. So what's really interesting is that sometimes things happen musically that are really unexpected. And so what happened to me last week was pretty trippy because I just as in most of my shows, I don't know if I like the camera that high. That's kind of spooky. I'm gonna lower it down again. As in most of my shows, everything I come up with live here, this is a live show, is on the spot, and so it really takes no effort for me to imagine something or to have an experience or a dream or something happen in a dream that wakes me up at night, like we talked about in previous shows, where that's where the creativity comes from. It's like an uncontrolled situation that happens in your sleep. You don't control what dreams you have. At least I don't know anybody that knows how to control what kind of dream they're having, although it'd be pretty nice to do it some. Um, I don't know how to control my dreams. However, I have noticed that when you're on medication for health reasons, it affects your sleep pattern and also affects it affects your mind completely. And so there's a lot of stuff that has been happening to me over the past 2 years because of my medical condition, and I can't explain how things are happening. I can't explain how I'm writing a song pretty much every day. But anyways, the or more than one day. It's just inspiration. Things are very inspiring to me right these days. So, as I was saying, something happened where this phrase entered my mind out of the blue. And I just blurted it out as it came in. I just blurted it out, and I was with my my friend, and she said, "You do you know what you just said?" And I go, "Not really." She said, "The high price of love is a great lyric because, according to her, everything in today's music, I don't know if this really holds true anymore, it might, is based on sex, drugs, and rock and roll." So that covers a lot. And so the love side of it, when you think of it, the high price of love, and when I said it, I thought that sounds cool, and that's all that went through my mind. I had no definition. However, when I said it and it hit her ears, women hear things a lot different than men do, and from my experience, not everything, but okay, occasionally they'll hear things different than a guy does. And so when I said it, what came to her mind, as she described to me, was that it was more of a after effect or an after experience of love or falling in love or being in love. It's weird. It just sounded like Chuck Berry for a second there in an interview he did about his songs. Anyways, which is cool. I love Chuck Berry. Rest in peace. He was awesome. So she was thinking, yeah, it was more of a statement or phrase that she felt was more in tune with being in love with somebody. And then I had to stop and think, the high price of love. Well, what does that mean? And I had to ask her, well, what do you mean? And then she explained it to me. When you fall in love or you fall out of love, it can be an emotional, an emotional heartbreak or a hardship that I don't know if guys are as feel that way about relationships the way women do. Like when a guy falls out of love or a woman falls out of love, they're both falling out of love, definitely. And how one side feels compared to the other side, it's a matter of opinion. And it's kind of weird because I have friends that have been married and then gotten divorced, and in the divorce state, when they're married, they're basically one person. Even though there's two, they equal like one kind of an entity, or I'm not sure what the term would be. But anyways, after the marriage fails, and I've known some people where their marriages failed for lots of different reasons, for like years after they got married. And the guy's story is always one story as to what happened with the relationship, and the woman's story is like the other side of the story for why the marriage failed. And I shouldn't even say the other side, it's another side of the story. So you have two people having the same experience, but in a divorce or a marriage breakdown, whatever, there's two sides. It's like that old saying, there's two sides to every story, which could be another song. It might already be a song, two sides to every story. Anyways, the high price of love is, from her standpoint, my friend's standpoint, was that, yeah, when you are in a relationship and it falls apart for whatever reason, it's a price. It's a price you paid to be in that situation. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to you. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, but I think it makes a lot of sense to women. And I'm not sure why they're women. Well, women are very mysterious in a lot of different ways, good ways. And so, anyways, that phrase has been on my mind for, well, probably for the whole week, like, because I wasn't here. So I have also been composing other things during that time period. I wouldn't say composing things. I've been doing a lot of arrangements to songs that I've always wanted to play. Even since I was a kid, I was wanting to play some songs. And so I started coming up with my own arrangements, to really classic big songs. And I had a great time doing it. Another thing I should notice, I'm totally by myself. There's nobody else here. And I've been that way since Friday, and today's Monday. So I thought I'd be able to accomplish a lot, but I accomplished basically nothing. And that there's a lot of different reasons for that. And I shouldn't say accomplished nothing. I did a lot musically. So running over certain songs that I've always wanted to play, had no clue on how the chords changed chords went, the key it was in, things like that. And so I'm able to pick that stuff up off from listening to songs now better than I've ever have in my entire life. So that's what I spent a lot of my time doing. And I think a big reason for that is by playing. I'm playing in a band where we're playing every Saturday, and I'm playing a lot of Motown music, which I'm not really familiar with, and so I guess that is influencing my songwriting and composing as well. So maybe I might not have come up with that phrase "high price of love" had I not been playing different types of music. So one thing I'm certain of is that a lot of the music that I've composed has definitely been based on blues and Chicago types of blues and different styles of blues, even country blues. But all the different genres of blues, not so much jazz, although some of the blues that I play is also considered jazz. You know, Lead Belly songs that I've played. Oh, that's like a jazz song. I'm like, no, it's very old song. So if you've never heard of Lead Belly, check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. He influenced even Nirvana was influenced by Lead Belly. So, I guess this is the next composition. So what I can hear in my head when I say that phrase would come out of me as the high price of love, something like that, with that sort of melody going with it. So what I did was I picked up my guitar, and when I started playing it, something I noticed that when I do compose, I sure seem to compose a lot of stuff with, like I said, with a blues feeling. So I think this phrase is more suited for kind of like a spatial. It's not special, but spacious. That's the word I'm looking for. A spacious kind of song or melody that really breathes, so that the high price of love is really clearly understood when the phrase is spoken or sung. So, some of the things that I was coming up with, I think it was an F sharp or G. But anyways, I was coming up with rhythms that I normally come up with for most of my compositions. It always seems to be based on a 12-bar blues format. Not every single time, but a lot of the time. And with this song, with this phrase, I don't know what it is, but it's almost like an unfamiliar thing that come out of my mouth. The high price of love. It's a really cool phrase, and it probably is going to mean a lot to a lot of different people. But I'm kind of stuck, I guess, for the melody. So I've got the phrase, but I'm a little bit stuck for the melody. So what I was going to demonstrate, I don't really have the melody or the progression in mind, but it was almost like so somewhere that I don't know so much about that progression. Is exactly what I had going on. No. But I was playing with it the other day, and what I did find out about the composition is that That was a truck rolling by. Loud truck. Anyways, the I think the structure of that phrase, the high price of love, would fit really would fit well in a, like I was saying, spacious sort of empty part in a rhythm. So it would be go the high price of love. So you have that gap where there's no instruments going. Even the drums would stop, like da 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 blap, the high price of love, and then goes into another part or goes back into whatever rhythm I can imagine. And so that's how far I've gotten with this. And it's kind of disturbing in a way because I know what the song feels like in my head, but putting it into the rhythm on the guitar right now is a struggle because I think I want to write something that I'm not really familiar with. What I'm imagining, here's what I'm imagining in my mind. In a period of time of probably the 90s, Eric Clapton had several hit songs during the night. Not several, but he had a few hit songs that had a real different feel. They weren't blues and they weren't standard sort of progressions, but they became hit songs. And I think that's the sort of feel that I'm looking for this high price of love. Would be kind of a Eric Clapton-y kind of progression or song structure. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like I said, I have composed several songs where I borrow stuff from other songwriters or even other songs to create my own composition. And that just happens naturally because I think for the most part, people, when they compose music, whoever it is coming up with something that they already heard before, but they're hearing it their own way and composing the song their own way. So I think that's where we're going to go with this composition. So what the verses would be, like I think the high price of love is actually a statement, and probably the title of the song, a statement that's made throughout the song based on certain stories. So our first story or verse could be what my friend was saying, something to do with something to do with the ending of a relationship being an expensive sort of life experience. And so, and maybe that has a lot to do with different a person's life experiences. Like I was looking at what's her name? I was just reading something about Britney Spears and about her, what's it called? She was being basically cared for lack of a better term, but conservatorship, something like that. Anyway, someone was taking care of her money, not herself, and she just turned 40 something, 42 or whatever, and now they ended that whole thing, so she's got control of her money. Anyways, I started reading about her a little bit more to find out why anybody would get themselves into that situation, and I was just blown away to see how many relationships she's had in her life. Is like boom, and they're all very serious, obviously serious relationships, or maybe just not serious. It's just that she's in the public eye so much. Very famous entertainer. But I was kind of taken aback thinking, wow, if you've been through that much in your life, you've got a lot of experience, like 100 times probably more, to write songs about love and falling out of love based on her life and her lifestyle and her relationships, past and present, future. Who knows what's coming next? So that in itself is, I don't know if that's so unusual. I find it unusual because I've just been in a handful of my relationships and I'm 59. So it's all, I guess it's different for each person. Some people I know have only been in one relationship for their whole life, maybe two, and counting the ones they had, before they were in a serious relationship. Yeah, I know I have a friend that was in one relationship that went, oh, it was bad. It was just not a good situation, not between the two of them, but because of their parents. And so their parents basically destroyed that relationship. One relationship. And affected my friend for his entire life. Badly. Anyways, so, which I might someday write a tune about. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how the price of love goes. High price of love. The price of love. Ooh, anyways, so getting back to the phrasing and where the structure of this song is probably going to take me is going to be kind of an Eric Clapton feel from the 90s. I don't know if that's such a great thing, but it is what it is. And I think it should have kind of a sophisticated feeling to it, because we're talking about love, which is it can be a sophisticated topic. It can, and it doesn't have to be. However, I feel like the phrase should have some kind of sophistication to it, just based on the phrase itself. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, it's not a phrase I would regularly blurt out, and where it came from, I haven't a clue. I wasn't even thinking about anything when I said it. So, but to remember it was really kind of cool, and I still remember it. So, where are we going to go with that? I don't know. The high price of love. That sounds like another song I composed, so. I don't think that fits. There's something about it, though, that's attractive to me. High price of love. And that could be that's coming together. So you could have I could put another type of rhythm to this, which is kind of separate from this, but maybe it would be the chorus. So that would be the last chord of the progression of the verses, and then the high price of love, the high price of love, the high price of love, The high price of love. I like that. So here this is all happening live. We're composed. I did not pre-plan that progression at all. It's just where the phrase is kind of taking me, because I really like that. And what key are we in? I don't even have a clue. But I'm playing a D here, and then the high price of love is G, A sharp, C. So D, the high price of love, the high price of love. I don't know if that sounds like anything right now. It's probably something I'm probably going to record and study as a riff to find out where we're going to go for the verses. So what's kind of interesting too, when it comes to composing a new song, there's no real fixed rule as to what's going to come to your mind first. A lot of times I'll come up with a phrase or a word or a saying first, and make it into sometimes make it into verses, or generally when you come with a phrase first, I think it really most of the time will turn into a chorus before an actual verse, which is kind of, I don't know if that works for every composer in the world, or whether it varies. Like I said, there's some people that just compose differently. With computers, they compose songs. So whether or not whether they get the verse or a chorus or just a word or a phrase and build off that phrase, that to me sounds most likely that someone's going to build off a phrase or build off an experience, and the most common phrase within an experience. Like, I fell in love with this girl. She's from New York City, and she was left-handed and was mean and pushed people around, that sort of thing. And that in itself is kind of like, you got some imagery there, but it could be a girl from New York City as the chorus, or what. I think that would be something in a girl from New York City kind of chorus, or maybe something later that comes out from composing it. So, what, as you probably understand and or saying, is that composing is kind of mixed up. It's there's no real formula for it. The imagination just opens up, and things start coming into the imagination box or pot for you to start experimenting with and building on. So here we are with basically the high price of love. 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 So maybe G would be the first chord of what the verse is going to be, because I think we've kind of got the chorus down. And so at the end of that, we're coming down back to the G. And so we're going, which is, that could be considered, that's a 3-chord progression. But it's not really a blues progression, which is pretty weird, pretty new for me. 'Cause I was trying to see if those chords could be made into a 12-bar blues. I don't know. I don't think so. Definitely not. So, there in itself, we've moved away from what would be normally referred to as a blues structure. However, if we include that, the high price of love, we include the D in this composition as the last chord before it goes into the chorus, then we now have C, G, and D, which is the 3-chord format, can be turned into a blues based on those. So, which I might end up doing is using that. The high price of love, the high price of love, the high price of love, the high price of love. So, we're now going to, that just came to me out of the blue as far as possibly a verse structure. Still out of the blues, 12-bar blues format, which is, to me, good. Now, how do we get up to the D? Da-da-da-da. The high price of love. No, okay, so I think, I don't know if you're seeing this as well, those 3 chords are kind of the foundation of the rhythm, I guess, or structure of this composition. So to go from that to so, yeah, I'm just kind of, this is my imagination, you're seeing my imagination actually working right now, for composing this song, which is really what this show is supposed to be all about. It's rare that it happens live. So we can bring this into a structure. So we're still not doing anything 12-bar blues, which is unusual for me. No, I keep repeating myself. So I'm basically repeating the chorus without stretching out to the verse. I'm not sure where that verse is going to go. Maybe it's something I have to think about still and mull over in my mind before it takes me to where I want to go, Actually, it's like Keith Richards says, it's where the song's gonna want to go, because I do have control over what I'm doing. However, it's like it's so unusual that different composers have that similar experience. Is the song going to take me somewhere, or am I going to take the song somewhere? So you can play it faster, which is, I think, more of something that comes after the song is composed, or you can play it slower, which is something that comes after the composition is, I shouldn't say finished, or almost, it should probably almost done. Is you can start seeing, well, that would probably sound faster, quicker. And sometimes that doesn't happen for a long time. Sometimes it'll just happen when you're playing it live. You just notice that everybody in the band's playing the song quicker than it was written at or composed at, which is, I guess that's what happens when you have good players or experienced players giving their input to the way the song goes. Or maybe they don't like it and they just want it to be over sooner, so they're going to play it faster. I don't know, that would be rare. But I think that's our chorus. I don't like it going there now. I want it to go somewhere else. So maybe we're looking at staying out of any kind of blues format. However, we have all the chords for the structure. So this is kind of new ground for me. And this could also be an effect of what I was doing. I guess it was on Friday. I met up with a friend of mine named Troy Turner, who's from Louisiana, and he's been at this longer than I have, and we were jamming together at some club, and I was just I haven't known him for more than a year, so this is the first time that we actually were just the two of us playing together with a backing band, and I was playing one of his songs, and it was a jam, and the chord progression that he was playing, I'm pretty sure it was one of his own compositions. It was a blues, but it was not the standard the 12-bar kind of progression. He had this crazy thing going on. I don't even remember it because it was so new to me that after he played, next time he just left on tour today. I think when he comes back, I'm gonna sit down or get together with him and say, "Hey man, that song we jammed with, what were you doing?" Because I was playing along with it, and I thought, well, that's kind of a cool place to go. I've never gone there in a blues song before. So, and that's the cool thing about where Troy's from, is that the influences on music in, come on, New Orleans, that's all you got to say, right? It's New Orleans. So they do know blues, and they probably had a lot to do with a lot of different songs for blues. I think it was like... shuffle. Can't remember it, but it was different, and the chords were pretty much standard major chords. I don't think there was any minors or seventh stuff going on, but I won't know until I sit down with them and say, what were those? And ask them, right? So that in itself, that experience, that was just on Friday, new stuff for me, is going to affect my compositions, because it's a new technique or a new thing that I just heard and jammed on that I'd never played or imagined playing. So and it was pretty good. Like, Troy's really good at what he does. Like, he sounds great. He's quite the showman as well. So I'd like to learn that progression a little better. And it was in New Orleans. I think maybe it dipped into the jazz a little more than a standard blues would, which, New Orleans is known for jazz. It's known for blues. It's known for zydeco. It's known for every type of music that I can imagine, or that I know of, like everything. So I think that's maybe kind of mixing up my mind a little bit, so that this song is kind of going in a different path that I'm used to. It's kind of like walking down a path for the first time, and there's rocks sticking out that you're not aware of, so you got to be careful not to step on a rock and fall or twist your ankle, anything like that. So it's a new path, and it's affected obviously that experience has affected my songwriting capability. And I could probably find the song on YouTube, but maybe not, because I think it was one of his songs. So getting back to this, The High Price of Love, I think what I'm going to do is work on the lyrics a little bit more. Or I'll spend about 5 more minutes right now seeing where I can go with this on my own, and you can just watch the composing process for me. Yeah, this is tough. It's always a good, just to make a note, it's always a good idea to play the chords that you're composing with. For myself, I find it interesting to play them in different places on the guitar. For a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's for tone reasons, to create a different tone, or also to open up possible places to go on the neck. So when you're going up like this, compared to, there's more available because you're going up higher. Just trying to think of what else that sounds like. Because I wouldn't mind borrowing something on this one. Okay, we just came up with a different progression for the chorus. Instead of being on a D, the high price of love, we can go the high price of love, the high price of love, the high price of love. So I think the melody line of the vocal is pretty much the same. The high price of love. So that's an interesting thing I just learned in composing. That's the cool thing about composing music is even while you're composing stuff, the universe is providing you with new stuff that you're unfamiliar with. Okay, we're making some progress now. So the chords that I was talking about, wanting to use, I'm now using. And it's because I did change this. The mental block I was having was in comparison to... So that those two different chords, the D led me down one road, which seemed to be a bit of a dead end. And the C led me down a different road, which rolled me right into what I think is the verses, the rhythm for the verses, which completes the song, unless we want to add Well, it doesn't complete it totally. It needs stories, more stories in there, and those we can come up with easily enough. Um, but what now we're getting more into is the solid structure of the song. So the next thing to fall into place once we have that. So this is where the verses would all be located, and then I'm coming up. The high cost, the high price of love, high price of love. This is very cool. I basically composed an entire song live in 51 minutes. That's, I think, a first for me. The only thing's missing is the words, and the words for this, I'm pretty sure, are going to. I think they're going to be easy, but I think they're also going to command a little more than my regular amount of thought that I put into words, because we're talking about love. And love can be pretty complex, especially between a man and a woman. It can be really, really complex. So, I would say at the end of this, I'm going to work on this myself to see what else I can come up with for verses. But I think what we've established, if everyone's paying attention, is the chorus and the verse structure of the rhythm of this song. And it's in a straight eight format, not a blues format, more of a rock and roll format. So we've got the verses. How it's going to start, I'm not sure yet. Might just start like that. And then words would start here. The high cost of living. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Because I had story coming to me while I was creating what I just created. So based on what I've got here and what I was humming, if you could hear my humming, I was humming along something that I thought would be a cool melody for the vocal line, for whatever the words are going to be, to go with that the high price of love chorus, because it's just the high price of love, the high price of love, the high price of love, the high price of love. Boom, verse. So, I'm not sure what the verses are really going to be yet. I gotta think about that. So that was a little 5 minute experiment, and it went really well. So I think we're going to leave it at that for today. And in the comments, if you want to write a story that you think would be good for your experience of the high price of love, what does that mean to you? It's going to mean something different to everybody, and there could be some dark stuff, and there can be some really lovely light stuff, and everyone's got their own experiences with love, right? But I want to keep it relatively clean, and kind of sophisticated. So it's stories that are well thought through will probably go into this tune. So if you want, make those comments in there. I think this thing is chat available. I don't know what that even means. So basically, with live streaming, what I know is what I'm doing. So I'd like to be able to see what people are saying, but I have no clue how to do that yet. I'm going to have to talk to my son about figuring that end of things out. But we're going to leave it at that. So good luck, and I'm really excited to see what everybody's feelings are about that high price of love, what it means to you, what kind of experience you've had in your life where you could add it to the tune. Because I can see this having a lot of different... To me, it reminds me of the song Problems that I composed back 30 years ago. It was recorded by some guys in Chicago, some blues guys. And we recorded it, of course, in the band I was playing with back then. I don't know if it's on the internet in different places. B.J. Emery, I think, recorded it, and Maurice John Bond. But I think it was on B.J. Emery's album. Anyways, that song itself had... it was a collaborative effort, and so there's different verses from different people, and each one is a unique experience. I don't even think I put any life experience into the song myself. Those things came from other folks. I don't know. I'm not sure what I contributed to that song. It was so long ago. Have to think about that. If I don't get some help, I think I put that one in there. Streets Are Where I'm Bound. Whatever. Have a look, or sorry, add some comments. I don't know why, but this thing keeps flashing messages about stuff going on around the world. I don't know why it does that. Anyways, thanks for watching. And I think if you want, you can... I notice that some people are starting to subscribe to this live show, or maybe they're subscribing to it later, but I think subscribing to it is, as you know, I say things, I don't mean to lie to people. It's just life happens. So if I say I'm going to see everybody tomorrow and I don't show up for a week, I think... Well, to me, if I was watching, that sucks. I'm here waiting for Larry to come on. He's not even on today. Whatever. And then go off and do stuff. You're going to leave. I'd be kind of pissed off if I was saying, well, I'll see you tomorrow, and I don't show up. I don't like that. So when you subscribe, I think there's something that happens that, I don't know, maybe it's just magic that I'm thinking of. That when you do subscribe, you'll get a message from somewhere saying, hey, Larry's about to come on here. Anyways, if it's just magic right now, I'll figure out, I'll get my boy to figure out how to make it real, so that if you subscribe to my channel, then you'll be on you'll be on the next live show. Does that make any sense? I don't know what I'm talking about. It's all crazy technology to me. But it sounds doable. So yeah, I don't know what like does, but yeah, subscribe to it, and then you'll know if I lie to you and say, "Oh, I'll see you tomorrow," and I don't show up for a week. I'll tell you why when I do miss some, and yeah, you never know. So thanks for joining me. This was a lot of fun today. So we're gonna do some more, and tomorrow's Tuesday. I think I will be here tomorrow, same time, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock Mountain Time. And if you live in the mountains, I hope you have internet. Anyways, whatever. Thank you very much, everybody. We love you, and we'll see you soon. Bye.